So, seeing all kinds of reactions from the fans, the media, Mark Madden, everybody. Andrew Filipponi's like, man, he put out a funny tweet yesterday. How the hell did I pick the Steelers to go to the Super Bowl last week? And now here I sit here today, doom and gloom. That's basically the reaction out of like the entire Steelers fan base right now. I'd say a big majority of the part of it, especially on Twitter, man. That's all I see is fire Canada, fire Canada, fire Tomlin. Mark Madden's going on his crusade now after one game. He even made a post saying, if the Steelers lose to the Browns on Monday night, we're going to be 0-2. Or we'll be, of course, we'll be 0-2, but the season will be over. 2 games into the season, Mark Madden's already ready to write off the Steelers, just like every single year for the past like 4 or 5 years. He's written us off, and we stay competitive. And it's been a dogfight all the way down to the end, for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But that's just what it comes with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, Colin Cowherd, all of them, all these media, they just love the shit on Pittsburgh. Even Stephen A., the self-proclaimed fan, who isn't a fan, because back in the day when the New York Giants were on top and Eli Manning was doing his thing with the New York Giants, and Skip Bayless was on the show, he was a New York Giants fan. Now he wants to claim Pittsburgh because the Giants, let's be honest about the New York Giants, they've been basically irrelevant. Fucking relevant. They are basically been the Cleveland Browns for the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. Besides last year. Last year was the first year they made the playoffs, and I don't know how long. And their record before that was just ridiculous, hideous, crazy. And they go out there and give Daniel Jones all that money. But that's neither here nor there. Stephen A. is just a fake fan who likes to use the Steelers name for clout because we're one of the most relevant organizations. We basically are the most relevant organization in the NFL. That's why so many people want to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. It drives the ratings up because there's so many Pittsburgh Steelers fans. I mean, everybody wants to talk about the Cowboys are America's team, blah, blah, blah. But let's be honest, the Steelers fans are everywhere, every state, every fucking country. It's crazy how big Steeler Nation is. I've talked to Steeler fans from Britain. I'm subscribed to this dude from Australia. He actually has a pretty good Steelers channel. Real good, actually. He's commented on my channel. Steelers Nation Australia. I can't remember the exact name of his channel, but he comes up with some pretty good content. I've been on the British podcast for the Steelers. So the Steeler fans are fucking all over the goddamn world. One of the largest fan bases in the league, one of the most talked about fan bases in the league. And here we are coming up against our division rival, one of the oldest rivalries in NFL history. The oldest rivalry in this shit goes back to like 1940, bro. 1940, this rivalry has been going on, and we hate each other. Fuck the Browns. I don't even hate the Browns that much. Honestly, the team is their self because we own them. Historically, we own them. I even picked Cleveland to win that game over Cincinnati because Cleveland, I don't know, they've had their number. And Tomlin's numbers on Monday night are ridiculous, insane. John Madden numbers. It's like 19-3 on Monday Night Football. Mike Tomlin is all time. That's just insane. That's an insane stat. And we beat Cleveland, I don't know how many times, but coming into this game, I'm the least confident I am coming into a game against Cleveland that I've honestly ever been in my life. And we could lose this game. And if we do lose this game, is it going to be over? Is the season over if we start out 0-2? Like Cowher put out a great post the other day. Like I said, been saying this shit in my videos all the time. He came out with a great quote. The NFL season is a marathon. It's not a sprint. You can't really judge a team until at least the quarter mark. And now there's an extra game on the season. I wouldn't even say you can't really judge your team until like 5 games into it, bro, to be completely honest. You only can really judge your team 5 games into it. Then you can really get a gauge on it, on yourself and on other teams because they've actually played other teams. There's tape out on them. You see what they're trying to do. Teams are starting to build their identity. Some teams already have their identity established, and there's some teams that are still trying to build an identity. And, there's always that team. There's always that dark horse team that comes out of nowhere that just builds an identity. And, the Detroit Lions last year, they came out of the woodwork, had a great year last year. A lot of teams every year. I'm not going to go through the whole history of dark horse teams that just pop out of nowhere. But even if we start out 0-2, bro, like 0-2, season's far from over. After that, we got a game against Houston and I think a game against the Colts. So this shit is not even close to being over. There's so much season left to be played. It's like Cowher said. It's like I say. The NFL season is a marathon. It's not a sprint. J.K. Dobbins is out for Baltimore right now for the season. For the season. Aaron Rodgers out for the season. And that's all we've heard all offseason is Mike Greeny. He's a New York Jets fan. And it's just Jets coverage all day long, every day. Aaron Rodgers, the New York Jets. Are they a Super Bowl contender? And boom. First week of the season, Aaron Rodgers goes down. Now it's doom and gloom for the New York Jets. And is it really over for the New York Jets? I mean, can Garrett Wilson step up and play? I mean, that's what a shitty organization the New York Jets are. They fucking draft a quarterback and then they give up all kinds of collateral to get that quarterback. And then they go and trade for Aaron Rodgers. So this is why the New York Jets are perennial losers, because there is zero consistency within the organization. This is why the Cleveland Browns are perennial losers and perennial dog shit, because there's zero consistency within the organization. So all these people, especially after Monday night, if Mike Tomlin actually does happen to blow this game to a huge game, it's a huge game. Don't get me wrong. And if we lose, you're definitely got to start questioning this team. We're not living up the hype, and then you got to start questioning, yeah, we got to start making some changes. But you don't make those changes 2 games into the season. You don't go through the full off season, 3 preseason games to go in there and fire your offensive coordinator 2 games into the season, bro. That's just would be insane. That would be horrible management. If anything, they should have fired Matt Canada in the off season, brought in a new OC, let Kenny run that offense, learn that offense, have a full training camp, full preseason, let him learn that offense and go that way moving forward. The Rooneys didn't want to do that. I think this is the last year on Matt Canada's contract. So we're going to let this ride. We're going down with the Canada ship. We're going down with the Tomlin ship. And even if Kenny Pickett keeps stinking the bed, I mean, are you really going to throw Mitch Trubisky in there and you're going to declare Kenny Pickett a bust? Or are you just going to try to let him grow and you're going to try to let him develop? I say you just got to let him grow and you got to let him develop and see what we got after a whole 17-game season. A whole 17-game season. And then you can really judge where you are and who you are and what your identity is and the things you have to do to make your team better, to stay competitive. And there's one thing you can say about Pittsburgh. Oh, Tomlin doesn't have playoff wins. Tomlin hasn't won a playoff game in the past 6 years. So that's basically all these haters, these Tomlin haters, they can't put his full body of work into play. They want to cherry pick his resume to suit their narrative because they know Mike Tomlin's going to get him hits. They know he's a big topic of conversation. And, they're just going to shit on this man and say, oh, he's not Chuck Noll. Of course he's not Chuck Noll, bro. And when Chuck Noll was coaching, the NFL was totally different. I mean, NFL players probably played football during the fall and whatever, throughout the season. And then in the summer, they probably went and had to go work construction and shit or be plumbers or fucking whatever, garbage men. Who knows? They weren't making nowhere near what they were making now. There wasn't a salary cap in the league. There wasn't social media. There wasn't 24/7 news coverage that these people just have to fill slots with their 24/7 news coverage with just constant Pittsburgh Steelers hate. That's all you get from the media is constant Pittsburgh Steelers hate because we don't win the Super Bowl every year. They hold us up to this high standard. And Steeler fans in this base just hold Tomlin at this extreme standard that he's supposed to win 4 Super Bowls, that he's supposed to be Bill Belichick, when literally he has the greatest win-loss percentage in this great, great storied franchise's history. Does he have as many Super Bowls as Chuck Noll? No. But this dude has been doing it consistently for 16 years. You cannot revise and erase the 16 years that Tomlin's had, and they want to call him mediocre Mike. That's all it taught. Mediocre Mike, mediocre Mike, mediocre Mike. Mediocre is 500. 520, 536. There's Hall of Fame coaches with 536 career win-loss percentages. Bill Parcells, Tomlin, literally, if we get 11 wins, it's not looking like we're going to get 11. I still we think we can get 10, maybe 11 wins this year. 9, 10, definitely. I definitely can put us in that range. He's going to pass Mike Shanahan, Bill Parcells, Tom Coughlin, and I forget this is a career mediocre. Jeff Fisher was a career mediocre coach. He coached 22 years in the league. And Mike Tomlin's about to pass this dude. He's about to pass all four of those solid coaches who have a ton of wins in league history. He's about to pass those guys. Pass those guys. All time. All fucking time. In a quicker amount of time. So that's another thing. I knew this was going to happen. That's why I spelled it all out for retards. They would be like, oh, well, it's just because you longevity. I don't know how many people told me in my comments said Mike Tomlin's a Jeff Fisher. Mike Tomlin's just Jeff Fisher. The only reason he has so many wins is because longevity, because of the Rooney Rule, That's the only reason he was hired is because of the Rooney Rule. That might have been the only reason that he was hired is because of the Rooney Rule. But I don't know. He was a Super Bowl defensive coach with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tony Dungy, who was a part of the Steelers organization, who played for the Steelers organization. So maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe it wasn't so much of his color. Maybe it wasn't so much. Maybe they felt that this was a good, young, defensive-minded coach that felt that he fit right in with the identity of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the identity of the Pittsburgh Steelers is motherfucking defense. And everybody's talking about the Browns defense, how they shut down Joe Burrow. The Browns defense is elite. I don't know. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense got to be elite. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense has to be a top 5 defense in the league if we do want to make it to the postseason. If Tomlin does want to get his next playoff win and actually have a chance to get to the dance and win a Super Bowl and win this division. But as it stands now, this division's wide open. We win on Monday night, and the Ravens drop this game to Cincinnati, which I think they can easily drop with this game to Cincinnati. I think Joe Burrow can have a bounce-back game. They don't got J.K. Dobbins. They're starting running back. They have a whole new offensive system that Lamar Jackson has to learn, and he's trying to be more of a passing quarterback and spread it around the field. And let's be honest, Lamar Jackson's not really a passing quarterback. It's like the great lady still said, I'm sorry, Miss Jackson, you ain't for real. You are just a running back disguised as a quarterback. That's what he is, a running back disguised as quarterback. So I can definitely see Cincinnati winning that game. And this is going to be a dog fucking fight between the Dog Pound and the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's going to be a dog fight, smash out, defensive battle, and run the ball. And the identity, it's time for the Pittsburgh Steelers to build that identity. And we have no identity on offense. We not only have to be a top 5 defense and stick to our identity, which is a defensive-minded philosophy, we got to be able to run the ball and ground and pound and keep opposing offenses off the field because we don't have the talent. You can sit there and blame it on Canada all you want, but we don't have the talents of the Patrick Mahomes and the Deebo Samuels and the Christian McCaffreys and all these high-powered offenses to where they put all their money on offense. It's just the way the league is and the way you build your team. But to say that defense can't still win in this league and it's an offensive-minded just because Patrick Mahomes won a couple Super Bowls, yeah, they're doing it. They're doing it their way. And offensive leagues obviously can win in this league, but you still got to play defense, like I say in all my other videos. You still got to play offense, and you still got to play special teams, and it's all got to come together, and it's all got to be a collective. Like Mike Tomlin said in his post-game interview, this is a collective. We're all taking ownership of this, and we all need to be better as a group and as men. And what are the Steelers willing to do? Are they willing to just bend over and die after one bad loss? Is this whole fan base ready to bend over and die after one bad fucking loss to the 49ers, who were supposed to win that fucking game, who made it to the NFC Championship last year, who has an elite defense and an elite offense. They have a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense. Like, let's be real about it. The 49ers are an elite fucking team. Kyle Shanahan's put together a great roster. You got to tip your hat off to the 49ers and the 49er fan base. That's all you can really say. Even though I hate half of those 49er I can't be on PC on this channel because somebody will flag me down. But all those 49er fans, we can't, I don't like them, but their team's good. Their team's good. Even though they were shit for a real long time, they have a solid team, and they fucking punched us in the mouth because we weren't ready, we weren't prepared, and we were all hyped off that preseason. Now it's just this whole fan base is just fire Canada, fire Tomlin, blah blah blah. It's over, blah blah blah. The flip flopping's crazy in this fan base, in the media especially. It's insane. It's crazy. They just write shit to just get attention. That's all they do. Which is what the wildest, insane takes. Mark Madden, it's over, it's over, it's over. Ha ha ha. I was right. The dude's so narcissistic that he has to come out here and talk about when he was right all the time. But he don't want to talk about how he's been dead wrong the past, 4 or 5 years about this team. And Kenny Pickett, he was off. Najee Harris was off. He didn't have a great game. A lot of people, even in the offseason, a lot of writers are saying, Jalen Warren has a chance at leapfrog Najee Harris, blah, blah, blah. I forget. I don't know if it was Jerry Dulac. I forget which insider. Actual good Steelers insider came out and said that that's crazy. It's not going to happen. Najee's the guy. Jalen Warren's the third down back. Even Jalen Warren came out and said, hey, Najee Harris is the guy. He's that dude. He's had 2 straight 1,000-yard seasons. He has some of the most broken tackles in a single season. I think he's second or third most broken tackles in a single season. I think he's second in most broken tackles in a game, like with 20 broken tackles in a game. So what's that telling me? That tells me he doesn't have really much help in front of him, because our offensive line has been terrible and it's been pitiful the past 4 or 5 years, and we've been trying to rebuild that offensive line. And the past couple of years, we took fucking like 3rd or 4th round picks. So now I'm going to toot my own horn. I remember putting out draft videos saying, I don't want us to take a guy in the 3rd or 4th round, a lineman. We need a lineman. Like that year we took Kenny. I didn't want to take Kenny. I'm going to be honest. I said, I'd rather take a lineman. I'd rather take a lineman than draft a quarterback, to be honest. And the lineman that we know is guaranteed to be good, not some project like Kevin Doxton and Green, who we ended up trading, who ended up being bust, who got like when they got drafted, we had this guy's going to be the next center. He's going to be a starter. Doxton got all this hype. Green got all this hype, and Steelers fans like, Tomlin has such an elite team right now. Such an elite team. We have Calvin, like the Steelers fans are hyping up Calvin Austin like he's a somebody, like he's this elite receiver just because he has 4.4 speed. Dre Archer had 4.4 speed, but he was 5'8", 160 pounds, bro. He's just because he's able to run fast doesn't make him a great receiver. I'd rather have a Terrell Owens that's willing to go over the middle and fucking take that hit every fucking time for his team and make that catch and come down with it and just say, hey, there ain't nothing you can do about it. I'm going to go over the middle. I'm going to go over the top. I'm going to go to sideline. I'll take end arounds. I'll do whatever the team needs me because I'm that motherfucking guy and I can do it all. Calvin Austin just ain't that guy. Maybe every once in a while you can get him on an end around. Maybe every once in a while he can spring loose deep and you can catch him deep. And maybe he might turn out to be a great receiver. I don't know. But he hasn't proven shit. All right? The fact is, Mike Tomlin has proven himself to be elite, has earned to have the respect to be talked about as one of the greatest coaches in the league. His resume, it speaks volumes. It speaks the loudest, and you cannot erase it. As much as these fans want to cherry pick it and erase it and spin it around to suit their hateful narrative against Mike Tomlin, and somehow that's the reason, he's only been hired because we have a Rooney Rule. People wanting to erase and revise his fucking resume They want to erase and revise his resume and act like it doesn't exist just to suit their narrative, to try to fire this man for no reason, who's done nothing but win for this fucking team and bring Super Bowls, been to 2 Super Bowls, youngest coach to ever win a Super Bowl, been to 3 AFC championship games, in the greatest win-loss percentage in franchise history. You want to fire this guy? Because we're trying to rebuild. We're trying to move on from a Hall of Fame quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger, who honestly held this team back for 3 or 4 years after he got that elbow injury against the 49ers. That's when he got that elbow injury, and he was down for the whole season. And Mike Tomlin still kept that team competitive, and everybody counted the team out, said we didn't have a chance to be competitive. Let's fucking tank the season. We might as well just give it up. Tank so we can get a quarterback in the draft, blah, blah, blah. And we were competitive, and we almost made the playoffs, just like we were competitive last year, and we almost made the playoffs. But if you have that mentality, this is what separates the Pittsburgh Steelers from the Cleveland Browns. This is what separates the Pittsburgh Steelers from the New York Jets, is the fact that we're never going to say that. We're willing. This team's willing, and Tomlin gets his guys to be willing to go out there week in and week out to fight and never say fucking die. Never say die and never give up and always stay believing. And especially the way the season went last year when everybody was counting us the fuck out. And on the eve of Franco Harris's jersey retirement, he passed away, and he was immortalized in the city of Pittsburgh and Pittsburgh Steelers history forever with his jersey retirement. We went on a fucking ridiculous run and just was smashing fools and running all over fools, and they couldn't do shit about it. And that's got to be the fucking identity, and that's identity's got to start on Monday night, and we got to smash it down Cleveland's throat. Win, lose, or fucking draw. We got to stay committed to building that identity back in Pittsburgh. We drafted Najee for a reason. Give him the motherfucking ball, Matt Canada. You cannot only give your guy. That's our guy, bro. Period. I don't care what no Steeler fans saying. That's the motherfucking dude, bro. And you give that motherfucker 20 touches in this game, and we'll see how good we do. We'll see how different we are on offense. Instead of asking your second-year quarterback to go out there and throw it 46 times against the best fucking defense in the league. That shit's ridiculous. So, yeah, I understand the anger and shit with Matt Canada. But to just dump him and expect Kenny, your second-year quarterback, to learn a whole entire new offense on the fly, bro, 2 games into the season, that's crazy too. That's going to kill his development. They're saying Matt Canada is killing his growth and development, blah, blah, blah. He was missing routine throws. Routine throws. That has nothing to do with Matt Canada. That has nothing to do with Kenny Pickett. That has nothing to do with Najee Harris. It has nothing to do with the defense. Nothing to do with the punter. It has everything to do with Kenny not hitting his receivers on time, in stride, on rhythm. Nothing to do with this. That's rookie-ass shit that's got to be taken care of, and it can get taken care of because Kenny's shown that he has accuracy and he can put the money on time and on rhythm. He's shown it all preseason, and he's shown it in the last 4 or 5 games last season. So the trend's got to continue, but he needs to get help. You can't put the whole entire offense on his back, and you got to put that shit on your back's back, your 240-pound smash mouth back, and smash it right down Cleveland's throat. So we'll see what happens. After the way we got embarrassed by the 49ers and the way they handled the Cincinnati Bengals, they should be favored in this game. They should be favored in this game. And this should be the motivation for this team to step up on Monday night, on the stage, in primetime, where Mike Tomlin dominates, like I said earlier in this live. Dominates John Madden numbers. And we dominate Cleveland. So the numbers say we should be favored. The numbers say we're going to win this game, and we should win this game. And if we don't, is the season over? No. I think after this, we got Houston. I believe that I think the Houston and the Raiders. I think we can easily handle the Raiders. We should be favored against Houston, and we should be favored against the Raiders. So what? Even if we lose this game, and then we go on to beat Houston, and we go on to beat the Raiders, we're 2-2. 2-2. With how many more games left? 13 games to go, and you can still win, what, 13 games? 14 games, sitting at 2-2? So this season's far from over. It's like Cowher said, this shit's a marathon. It's not a fucking sprint. And it's just sad. It's sad to see how many turncoat motherfuckers there are in this fan base. It's sad. And the media. Well, Mark Madden, he just wants to get attention for himself. That's about it. So I just want to get a little rant up here about the Steelers. And I think we're going to handle business. I think we're going to take care of business. I have faith we're going to win. I'm going to be honest. This is probably the least confident I've ever been. Because every time we play Cleveland, I got full confidence when we go up against the fucking Cleveland shit-stained Browns. But they can run the ball in the way the 49ers ran the ball against us. That got me concerned. The fact that Cam Hayward, our best run-stopping defensive lineman, is out for this game and is going to be out for 8 weeks, whatever, has got me concerned. The fact that Deontay Johnson, our best wide receiver, has got me concerned. But, this is an opportunity. That's what these players on this team's got to be thinking. And this is the type of shit that Tomlin's got to be preaching. This is the opportunity for all you young guys to prove that you can be the next great Hall of Famer, on a part of this great organization, who is tied for the most Super Bowls in NFL history and tied for the second best record in NFL history since the 1970s. Since the 1970s, we have the second best record. All Pittsburgh does is win. And to sit here and count this team out after one fucking game and call it for everybody's head after one fucking game is just ridiculous, man. Crazy. Blasphemy. Insane. And we just got to start building that identity on offense. And we got to start Monday night against Cleveland and get that defense. What the real identity is supposed to be is a defensive-minded fucking team and get after Deshaun Watson, because he didn't play fucking good. The only reason they won that game is how good their defense played and how well Nick Chubb ran the ball. He had, I think 106 yards on like 17 carries, some shit like that. So Nick Chubb was dominant. You contain him. I could see us force. We still got TJ. We still got Alex Highsmith. We still got some solid inside linebackers. We got Patrick Peterson, who needs to step up. We still got Minkah Fitzpatrick. We still got George Pickens. We still got Najee. We still got Jalen Warren. And we still got this offensive line that was supposed to be better, that was getting all this hype, that I don't know if they're really going to live up to that hype. They got to live up to that hype. And they got to fucking establish that shit. And they got to hit Cleveland in the fucking mouth. It's got to be physical. That was one of Cowher's biggest things, especially when we won that fucking Super Bowl in 2005. Above all, you play fast, you play smart, and above all else, you play physical. And that's what this game's going to be on Monday night. AFC North football, baby. The oldest rivalry in the NFL history. Cleveland versus Pittsburgh. And above all else, this game's going to be fucking physical. You got to hit this fucking team in the mouth. Defensively and offensively. Defensively and offensively. And keep on smashing that ball right up the middle. No fucking end arounds. No gadget bullshit, Matt Canada. Line that shit up and say, we're going to smash that shit right down your fucking throat, bitches. And that's what we got to do, is ram that shit right down their fucking throats and then get a fucking lead early. Give our defense a little bit of rest so they can't make stupid mistakes, because that's really that one touchdown that they had. I was watching a Richard Sherman podcast. That one touchdown that they had over the middle to Ayuk. They was saying the safety basically bit his assignment. He was supposed to Richard Sherman's like he was supposed to push him over into coverage and then stay at home. But Casey just literally bit his assignment, followed Ayuk over to, and then he finally followed another. It wasn't Ayuk. It was another person running a route, and then and he followed that dude instead of staying at home. Casey followed that dude instead of staying at home. So that was literally just a mental error on Casey. One little step that way, you bite the route one time. That's how quick it is. You make one little false bite in the NFL, you're going to pay, and you're going to pay quick for 6. I remember when we made that Super Bowl run, Champ Bailey, one of the greatest cornerbacks ever to do it. Cedric Wilson, a receiver nobody knows outside of the Pittsburgh Steelers fan base, and whatever other scrub team he was on before he came to Pittsburgh. I remember Ben pump fake Champ Bailey. Bailey bit the route, and boom, Cedric Wilson was gone, wide open, on one of the best corners ever to do it in league history. That's all it takes is one little step, one little bite, and that's 6 real quick in the NFL. And Deontay had a step on a receiver that should have been 6 real quick, and Kenny Pickett couldn't connect on time and on money. So that's got to change too. You got to establish the run, and then when you do ask Kenny Pickett to throw the ball, you got to hit him on time and on money, on rhythm, and this team can definitely win this game. It's fucking Cleveland, bro. They got the Sean Me Too Watson at quarterback, who they mortgaged their entire future to get and paid, made him the highest paid fucking quarterback in the league. A 24-time accused fucking rapist, bro. 24 times, bro. That motherfucker was accused of rape. And they made him the highest paid player in NFL history. And that is what separates the Pittsburgh Steelers from the Cleveland Browns. You talk about Ben, and his accusations. Ben was already on contract when all that shit happens, and they drafted Ben Roethlisberger. So it's not like we took some 24-time accused rapist off the street, gave up our entire future for, and made him the highest paid dude in the motherfucking league, bro. That's what Cleveland does. They got Miles aggravated assault Garrett on their team, and everybody else, a bunch of bums on Cleveland. Kevin Stefanski's proven nothing to be nothing but a bum. Everybody wants to talk about Mike Tomlin, but their roster in general, on paper, for the past 5 years, according to all the experts, has been a better roster than us. But we've proven that not to be true. They did get us in the playoffs that one year just to go on and lose. But was that on Tomlin, that game we lost to Cleveland, or was it on Pouncey? Fucking up something as routine as snapping the ball and Ben throwing I don't know how many interceptions in the first half to put us behind. And I remember a lot of people blaming the defense in that game. But you literally gave them like 14, 15, 21 points in that game, Ben, off your turnovers. And they said, well, look how much he threw. Look how many yards he threw in the second half. Of course he threw for a lot of yards in the second half. They were playing cover for the rest of the second half because they had a 21-point lead, and they could just sit off and give you the underneath and let the clock tick, 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 tick. And then they go out there and run the ball. Tick, 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 tick. So to say ground control and defense can't win games, ground control and defense won that game against the Cincinnati Bengals, who are getting all this hype and how this is how you call and counter. This is how you got to build a team now offensively, offense. But a ground and pound smash mouth philosophy beat the Cincinnati Bengals. And a ground and pound defensive philosophy has to be the way moving forward for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We got to keep building on that identity, and we can win some games. And Kenny's got to make plays when his number's called. And if that all comes together and the defense plays the way they're capable of playing, which is a top 5 defense, we have a chance to get in a motherfucking dance. And this division's wide open. Because like I said before, the Ravens lose, we win, we're first in the North. So this season's a marathon. It ain't a sprint. It's far from over. So here we go, Steelers, baby.